press this off, and unfortunately he's also spreading his army out. He's got kind of two pieces, one to the north and one to the south. Looks like he's going for one sort of pincer attack rather than just shoving it all together all at once. Let's see if he can use some comsat. He was using it rather liberally just a second ago. Several siege tanks to the north, and now he needs to bring these attack troops from the south, really to kind of finish this army off here. It doesn't look like he's in fact doing so, and it looks like a lot of these dragoons with that arbiter are going to be able to get right on top of this siege tank line with a nice stasis. Yeah, able to clean this up. The rest of these attack troops going to sneak in, try to take out that 1 o'clock base. They should be able to before these dragoons are able to run back up and defend it, and with maybe one more comsat should be able to defend. Well, actually never mind, a little bit too spread out. Mine's still hitting those dragoons along the way, but because these tanks just kind of in that weird defensible line, yeah, he was able to clear out that 2 o'clock base, and it looks like that 1 o'clock base still not producing, but not really able to take that nexus out, really not able to stop anything that Ammel is really doing right there, and he's once again back down to 154 supply. So yeah, that was about, what, a 50 supply army? It looks like he's, again, wants more siege tanks, wants some more factories down, maybe even kill off a couple of these SCVs, honestly, because just a lot of SCVs everywhere. Again, many of them idle. Looks like that 9 o'clock base is being distance mined. Actually, let's see if he decides to take that in short measure. And Ammel has opportunities to get back in this match, but he's just running at such a low economy, and he's running at such a upgrade disadvantage. It's going to be very, very difficult, and he's going to have to micro his brains out. And right now he hasn't been microing his brains out. He's been running headlong into these minefields at this stage of the match thus far. And I think actually this is a good position for him to actually take another base, clear these 2 mines to the south, take that base, and maybe even move up and try to get a little position, maybe even go for some recalls across the main, because honestly a good recall or two, especially if you can get it deep in the territory, take out a lot of those supply depots in that armory, stop that additional weapons upgrade. Looks like actually level 2 weapons just kicked in. Yeah, it could really pay off for him. It could put him in a really, really good position. Looks like that 1 o'clock base working pretty well, but still, again, not taking his gas, which is really, really going to hurt him. It's really going to, yeah, he has additional bases, but they're not going to be as valuable to them as they would have been otherwise. Still a little bit zealot and other unit composition light, just has that single zealot and that shuttle. Otherwise, it looks like he's going to be able to suicide in and lose several dragoons to mines right there just to take out a turret. So it looks like Ammel's not in fact microing his brains out like he really needed to stay in and just finish this match out. And still, yeah, a lot of SCVs, a lot of units lost a shuttle there in the middle of the map, and I think QXC just has so much. Well, he's just got low. He's just got the upgraded advantage. He's got the 9 o'clock base. I think ultimately he's just going to be able to starve Ammel out. Doesn't look like Ammel's in a position to take additional base. So it looks like, to me right now, depending on how long it takes QXC to kind of get up and gear and push out, it looks like he's sending some more vultures to the north to do some damage here. But depending on how long it takes QXC to kind of push out, he should be able to win this just on superior economy alone, particularly because Ammel refusing to take his gas here at any of these expansions, losing a lot of probes to the north. Yeah, when you don't have your gas as a protoss player, particularly when you essentially need to be out several stargates, pumping a lot of arbiters, high templar, and absolutely everything at this stage, which he's got a lot of gateways, but doesn't have a lot else as far as the next level tech that he needs. Fortunately for him, QXC again hasn't really been exploiting that fact. Looks like he's just now getting an army just kind of moving out to the front. I think he had that rallied towards his front when he really needed it rallied kind of down the ramp. Getting the EMP upgrade. Does have some science vessels out in the field to help deal against some of those troops. I'm sorry, some of those cloaked arbiters out in the field, but yeah, it's mostly dragoon heavy. He's got plenty of siege tanks to deal with that, and honestly, the dragoons have been mostly dying to the mines underneath. They just observers have been a nil factor. The dragoons haven't really popped these mines as they're running up. Kind of case in point, didn't take damage right there, but they have been just just straight moving across huge minefields and getting completely wiped out here. So more siege tanks, more vultures, a pretty good ball here, almost max supply again for QXC. Let's see if he decides to get aggressive as a result. Ammel now taking that 5 o'clock base, but it just feels very, very late to be taking this base. I don't know that he's in a position where he can hold it now, particularly against a 200 Terran army that's out upgrading him. Maybe with a couple good stasis he can still press this out, and this still looks like Even though this says 200, I'm kind of curious if it truly is, or if wow, a lot of siege tanks and defensive, just in case there's an arbiter recall or something like that. Yeah, I almost wonder. This just looks like a control group and a half of units, not really the full unit composition you'd expect at a fully upgraded huge Terran army, the Terran ball that you'd expect at this stage. So yeah, again, I wonder how much of that is SCVs and how much of that is just kind of troops that are kind of scattered out in a defensive position when they could kind of be on the roll at this stage. Ammel's not in a really good position to go for a counterattack and actually running headlong again into a minefield, losing some more Dragoons on his front, and it looks like he was able to clear some of that with the Zealots, but there's still some siege tanks underneath. It looks like QXC, instead of going to the north to try to crush this army, is going to come right back around from the south, and I think this might be Ammel's last hurrah here, because yeah, that QXC should be able to clean this up with a couple good EMPs and things like that. But it looks like that army trying to retreat. Looks like he's also sending in an attack force to take out that 5 o'clock base. Ammel should get starved out. It looks like he has finally planted that gas to those additional bases, so at least he is running some gas, but he's not going to be able to save this 5 o'clock and sending just a absolutely, this is the piecemeal of the piecemeal, a Zealot and 2 Dragoons against 4 tanks. Going to get absolutely massacred there, and it looks like a cutoff lane to wipe out the rest of his army. Yeah, Ammel's just going to end up getting starved out, where QXC is just going to have so much in his bank. He's just going to be able to roll this basically forever, and it looks like most of these troops getting caught. Still no High Templar. Not seeing any stasis either. I'm wondering if it's just not upgraded, or if I don't think he's getting EMP'd, because it looks like he's still got full energy otherwise. And now let's see if QXC is able just to turn around and roll this right down Ammel's main. Really, this army is in kind of a desperate kind of pinned position. Still no EMPs, looking for the EMPs. One pretty good stasis catching a lot of those troops, and keep in mind QXC is running with a very small army, so a good stasis like that, yeah, that was basically half his attack group right there. So only a couple vultures left and not a lot of siege tanks left. Otherwise, looks like a couple reinforcements being built. About 20 supply out in the field getting taken out. So really this is almost like a 30 or 40 supply army that's being kind of fielded out here, and most of the rest of this is either SCVs or just kind of latent siege tanks that are hanging out here. Some more idle SCVs here in the corner. Let's see if QXC decides to move out with another army. And actually with just these Dragoons, he needs to be careful, because I wouldn't be surprised if QXC just gets a good comm set and gets a couple of extra troops if he dedicates a nice attack. It looks like he's almost got it fully upgraded. Getting a nice EMP there with a couple of those troops trying to run away. Yeah, I think if he just attack move, he could have done more. Double EMP, make sure it's especially drained of energy. So looks like these arbiters going to be completely out of energy, running into a siege tank and a couple Goliaths. Otherwise, one of the arbiters does get picked off. Another attack troop headed to the north. It looks like Ammel completely out of position to try to defend it, even though it's just kind of a little bit of a skeleton crew. I think Ammel is expecting some bases here to the south. If he swings around to the north, this is actually a pretty well entrenched position, even with just these couple siege tanks and the troops right there. Looks like this base is going to get taken out, and I think that's going to be it for Ammel. And yeah, there's plenty of mines out in the way, and oh yeah, with the mines right there and the way Ammel's been kind of running headlong into them, it looks like he's kind of attack moving across this as well, instead of picking off the siege tanks. The SCVs could come off the line and probably kill these Dragoons otherwise, and it looks like the reinforcements going to be able to sweep down, wipe that out. That's going to be GG for Ammel. So it looks like very nice. Go Harvey Mudd, able to take it. That's going to put the West up 2-1. Moving on to the next match shortly. Thank you for listening.